Well, that was a golden opportunity wasted, bookended by really shit selection and a pretty disgusting final quarter. And the Hawks going into the rest of the season, even if we do play finals, have three massive areas that need to be improved quickly, or the contender status is done for. Let's talk about our night at Optus Stadium. Now, if you follow me on Twitter, which you absolutely should, you would know that I put together a little graphic the other day about Caleb Serong that went, well, Finn McGuinness is going to play for the simple reason of you need to tag Caleb Serong. Not only did James Jordan do it so effectively last week with 11 disposals for Caleb, but Freo were 8-0 going into tonight when Serong had 28 or more disposals, and Freo were 2-6 without him doing that. And if you've never really watched Caleb before, his first touch at clearance is what makes him so damaging, and the 1-2 punch between he and Andy Brayshaw make Freo such a potent midfield. Now, you could look at the centre clearance numbers and go, Daz, what's the big deal? It was 11 each, and the stoppage clearances weren't massive in terms of a differential there anyway. Well, I would argue that the final 15 minutes had something to do with that. Serong had 29 disposals, and the streak goes to 9-0. Why was Finn the sub? Anyway, outside of being right for the wrong reasons, the three fatal mistakes, right? Let's start with the first one. Easiest one to do is this was a pox night for the leaders. All of them. Sicily, 21 disposals and 7 marks were not worth the phone I'm recording this on. And Dylan Moore tonight, and no one is a bigger Dylan Moore fan than I am. Jesus, do we need to have a conversation? We saw what Guinea's done since he went to Box Hill. I'm all in on it. We play Port in Tassie. Drop him off at Box Hill. It's as simple as that. It's just, you look at it and you go, this was finals pressure. It was a finals atmosphere. This was a chance that we could see what we are made of. And outside of the Bulldogs final last year, these are tests we continue to fail. The Port Adelaide comeback last year, so not the semi-final, I'll get to that in a second, but the one at Adelaide Oval before then, the Darcy Byrne-Jones goal, right? Then the really poor record we've got against top 8 teams, because now that Bulldogs win doesn't count because they're now 9th. It is now Freo have beaten us. We've beaten Adelaide and GWS. Cool, both in Tassie, and we're going to play Port there next week. But those Tassie wins aren't exactly doing a whole lot for us. I think we've just got to accept that we're just not that good enough. And the second flaw that we've got to fix outside of the leadership is all-round maturity. It was a bad night tonight to be a pretty maligned player at the Hawks, right? Cam McKenzie was subbed out. He ain't Sam Mitchell Jr., guys. Stop telling me he is, okay? Outside of him, though, plenty of players we could look at and just go, it was just not that great, right? We didn't get a whole lot out of Mabior Chol tonight. Does he get credits in the bank? He came into this round 10th in the Coleman, right? Yes, he didn't do a lot. I'm not ready to throw the baby out with the bathwater on Mabs here, but still was not great in the slightest. CJ defensively had a lot of bad moments. Josh Ward was our most dangerous kick inside 50. Without the footy tonight defensively, he made some egregious errors. And look, Harry Morrison's first half, he was in my MVP votes. In the second half, boy, jeepers, that is not great in the slightest. It was just, if you think that any Hawk playing tonight is a somewhat maligned player by fans, not opposition, by fans. Yeah, they were awful tonight. They really were. Except for one that I have maligned in the last 4 weeks. Jimmy Warple, pretty good. Held up in a midfield, like I said, against Brayshaw Serong, was really good. For some reason, this actually wasn't a part of my big 3 flaws, but can we stop giving non-elite forwards the chance to belt us? Because Ben Ronk did it, Darcy Byrne-Jones did it, and Sam Switkowski decides to play the best game of his career against us. That's on us, by the way. And forgetting the fact that, and this will lead into the third point here, is that we are our own worst enemy. And the third bit that we need to fix, so the leadership, on-field leadership needs to be fixed. Absolutely. Right? But we also need to fix momentum. Freo's 5 out of their first 6 goals were off our turnovers. We had 10 less turnovers tonight. They beat us with points off turnover by over 18 points. Like, that's just not okay. But the third thing that we need to fix is our momentum execution. When we so look like the better side, and we did for big parts of the second quarter and for half of the third quarter, it just wasn't getting on the scoreboard. And I don't know how many times we can have a set shot from 48 out and get it to the goal line where it can just be punched through by Brennan Cox before someone goes, hey, maybe we can lower our eyes, create some more dangerous space. Because their small forwards tonight, outside of Dylan, were awesome. Connor McDonald had a really good day. Jack Ginnivan was a star, and the Wizard, geez, he had some moments. So I think if a couple more balls bouncing went the right way, he could have had a big night. Now, this might be an unpopular opinion. I don't know. I'm really happy with the way the Wizard was umpired tonight because I think moving forward, it's going to make him go, it can still be an arrow in his quiver. It can still be a trick of his trade, but it doesn't have to be the first thing that he goes to. Because when he is, ball first, try to break a tackle and get clear, he's one of the more dangerous small forwards in the league. We saw it tonight on a couple of occasions, right? But yeah, when he led with his head and he wasn't paid it, it's like, what else did you have? He still had extra things to give, but I don't have a problem with it at all. I really don't. But overall, leadership, maturity, and executing with momentum are the three things that the Hawks need to fix. Yes, Freo deserve all of the credit, but that's not what the Hawthorn reviews are for. So Freo fans, if you're here going, there's any chance you could talk about us? Sorry, that's not what this video is for. Sue me. I don't really know what to tell you. But hey, I've done 2 non-Victorian team positive videos in the last 2 days, and hardly anyone's watched them. So don't come at me for the Victorian thing. This is on you guys. But yeah, my overwhelming emotion is actually annoyance, right? It's not anger. It might sound it, to be honest. But hey, newborn, not getting a lot of sleep here, and the first loss we've had since she was born. So she's still 2-1. Lucky her. I should actually go through and see how the Hawks are win and loss since I've been alive. That might be fun to do. However, my overwhelming point here is it's annoyance, right? Because so many things were in place. And look, Freo fans, if you want to disagree with this, I'm absolutely okay with this. I have no problem with that at all. For the first 3 quarters, the last was a write-off, right? For the first 3 quarters, I reckon we were the better team for 75% of the game. And we didn't have enough to show for it. That's 100% on us, right? And what I don't want is I don't want any bitching about the umpires. I don't care how bad that last 10 minutes was. Before that, we got the rub of the green a lot in this game. So overall, it's all of this was on us. And I think that's the annoying bit, is there was hardly anything not in our control that went against us from an overwhelming point of view. We just showed tonight that we just aren't that good enough. Look, it's Collingwood, it's Brisbane, and then Adelaide are probably half a tier below for me, and then throw a blanket over the rest. The rest of the 6 have overwhelming flaws, right? The Bulldogs, it's defensively. The Hawks can't really stand up under pressure. I still don't think Freo stood up well under pressure for large periods of the game tonight. Like, I really don't. And then GWS, well, they can beat good teams, but they've got mental lapses in their game as well. I still don't fully trust them defensively either. Geelong, I think you can get Geelong rebounding. Not many teams can, but the Giants can, so they're doing really well in that regard. But yeah, at the Hawks, they're just there, right? Good on their day, not good enough tonight, unfortunately. In terms of the MVP, Lloyd Meek gets the 5 and will actually go to the top of the standings. I'm giving Jack Ginnivan 4. And the other 3, whilst they're there in that order, are fine, right? The one player that I do want to give credit to, and the leaderboard is up there on the screen as well, is I want to give a massive shout out to Tom Barrass, because Josh Tracy inside 50 barely had an impact tonight. And you could say that he kicked the sealer, but I don't care if it's Tom Barrass, I don't care if it's Sam Taylor, right? No one was stopping that mark inside 50. The rest of the night, Barrass killed him in the forward, say, 60, 65 metres. So that's where I'm at. Rant over. This was not fun to experience, and we will probably bounce back against Port next week. But yeah, this is a golden opportunity missed. We could have been in the 4 and on percentage if we had have put the foot on the throat. We didn't. We got to get better. Leadership, maturity, execution on momentum. That's what we got to do. So thank you for watching. The next few days are going to suck, but is what it is. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.